Hey there, rival fans! Today I have something special for you. As a former Overwatch player who left the game into Overwatch 2, I think that a lot of different characters have some similarities with the characters in the Marvel Rivals. And since a lot of people gonna switch from the Overwatch to this game or at least play them both, I think that this totally makes sense to make a video about what characters should you main in a Marvel Rivals instead of Overwatch and who is your mains here in the Marvel Rivals. So let's start right away with the Thor. Thor is pretty powerful character. I really like how his abilities kit is really strong and make a lot of push on the different characters. He's really good to clear enemies and dealing tons of damage with his lightnings in his ranged form, but at the same time he can be a really great tank for engages and he doing massive damage. I think that including that he also had a shield, he might be something really close to the Doomfist when he was DPS back in the day. He was also a brawler, he also got shield and also used different abilities and had the ultimate, which gives him a possibility to jump from above right into the enemies and dealing AoE splash damage. So obviously there is quite a lot of similarities between those two, so if you like dealing damage with the close range characters, I think that Thor is the best one for you if you meant Doomfist in the Overwatch 1 and maybe even in the Overwatch 2. The second hero is Venom, and obviously this is a Hammond, also known as Wrecking Ball from the Overwatch. They have a lot of similarities. First of all, this is an engage mechanic of just swinging around, drop into the enemies, stun them for a brief period of time and make them airborne, while dealing tons of damage with some extra abilities. For example, diving up with Venom with his ultimate and his splash attack is always really helpful. Same goes to the Hammond, and they both have incredibly huge health with shields which can improve their survivability. So if you like to engage from above as well and you want more kind of a classic tanky play, not a DPS one, obviously Venom is a Wrecking Ball. So if you made him, be sure to try out the Venom in the Marvel Rivals. Next one is one of my favorite characters, and this is Iron Man. I played a lot of Pharah back in the day in the Overwatch 1, and honestly, they looks really similar to me. Including the fact that Iron Man has a team-up ability with Hulk, he became even more overpowered version of the Pharah. The best part about Pharah and Iron Man is that you can control the battlefield from above, dealing tons of damage from pretty high range and also dealing the splash damage on the area of effect. Your basic attacks are basically some little kabooms which dealing great damage. Ultimate is also quite similar, but Iron Man ult is much better because you shouldn't stay on one point and this one is targeting pretty fast and dropping your rockets or overpowered missiles really fast, comparing to the Pharah in Overwatch, which should stay on one place when using the ultimate, and basically this is a channeling ability. So yeah, if you like this, if you like swift movement, and again, Iron Man much more swifter than the Pharah because he flying around with huge speed, not just jumping around and levitating in the air like Pharah did. So yeah, I think you will like it because this is exactly what Pharah missed in the Overwatch. So it will be such a great experience for you Pharah mains. Next one is Magneto. Magneto is really amazing character. Yes, he is nerfed now, but still I think that he will be pretty strong anyway with the Scarlet Witch combination, with his great team up with his sword, which helps him to deal damage from afar and actually make pentakills really easy. And he is obviously Sigma. Why? Well, first of all, these are both shield tanks with exploding ball basic attacks, and Flying Ultimate, which consumes every projectiles that directed on them during the ultimate, while giving back increased damage with ultimate, based on how much stuff you consume during it. You also have such a little bit of a stun, if you can say so, the Sigma throwing kind of boulder into the enemy and stun them for a brief period of time, while Magneto doing basically the same. And obviously Magneto has a self-shielding ability too. So Magneto is Sigma. If you like this tank, definitely try this in Marvel Rivals. The next character is Hulk. He is the first character developed in Marvel Rivals, and he is basically Winston. He's a dive tank with a limited shield, with great damage, but he don't really have this kind of a electric gun with a short range damage, but instead he is basically Winston under his ultimate for all the time, and when Hulk go in rage with his ultimate, he has even more crazy and more powerful abilities, especially this sweet one, which is the reference to the Avengers and Loki scene. I think that Hulk might be a little bit underpowered, but I believe that developers will buff him on the release. So if you like Winston, if you like jumping around and annoy your enemies with some swift dashes and dives, this is definitely a character for you. Jumping into the next guy, and this one is Punisher. Punisher is a Soldier 76 plus Reaper from the Overwatch. Depends on what gun you're gonna use for engagement. If you want to deal with some characters from a far on a mid-range or long-range distance, it's obviously the Soldier 76 with his automatic rifle. But if you want to deal with the characters on a close range, you obviously should use your shotgun as a Reaper. Just 1 or 3 shots and the enemy gonna die instantly. So this is really powerful character. I think that he might be even stronger than the Soldier 76 and Reaper, but also one of his abilities is basically the Bastion, because you can use huge turret to place it around and deal tons of damage. You are kinda a bit weak when you use this ability, same with the Bastion in the Overwatch, but at the same time you're getting huge damage, which is amazingly good in saying some shields or some heavy characters like Hulk, Magneto and other tanks. So yeah, Punisher right now is probably the top tier 1 character in the Marvel Rivals and obviously deserve your test. Next character is a Black Panther. He is kind of a Genji plus a little bit of a Doomfist in my point of view. He is really mobile DPS with a lot of dashing and ability focus, he dealing damage pretty fast, so he's quite good to clean enemy back rows such as strategists and sometimes even kill duelists in a blink of an eye. He's really fast and hard to be aimed to, so I think that this character is really good for Genji mains who really enjoy dashing. And after it we go to this Storm. Storm is basically Lucio plus Echo because she has Flying Arrow, which increase movement speed or increase damage, depends on what you use, and also doing some spammy damage from afar, while her ultimate, well, it's basically unique and really powerful. So if you want to be kind of a DPS strategist in some way, I think that she is really good choice for you. The next one is the iconic Star-Lord, and he's obviously Tracer with a bit of a mockery, or should I say Cassidy vibes in the Marvel Rivals. He's squishy high mobility DPS who can also dash around, dealing tons of damage, reload super fast, and his ultimate is basically Soldier 76 plus aimbot plus dealing tons of damage and getting the dash of the Mockery to increase the ammo rate to destroy everything possible on his way. He's really interesting. He also has some flying mechanics with his ultimate. He probably one of the swiftest characters in Marvel Rivals, so if you like this kind of plays, definitely try him. Jeff the Shark is probably the Moira in my point of view. He is really powerful, he has a stream which healing characters, also dropping some orbs which heal allies and increase the heal rate. And beside this he also have pretty strong primary attacks, which deals quite a lot of damage to anyone on his way. And besides this he also can avoid damage and run around by hiding under the surface and increasing his movement speed, juking enemies and avoid different engagements. So really feels like some kind of a Moira for me, but not that aggressive. If you want to play something like Moira, Jeff might be a great choice. But besides this, if you want to go full DPS Moira, I think that the best choice for you is a Scarlet Witch. She has pretty similar primary attack, she also has some orbs to damage enemies from afar, and you have Moira with Diva Ultimate. I think it's pretty strong, right? So if you like these characters, obviously Scarlet Witch is a good one for you. but she's a little bit squishier than D.Va because her ultimate is actually done by herself. She didn't place any mech or something to blow up enemies, so might be a bit hard to pull out a bit later in the meta when people get used to the Scarlet Witch and will be much more accurate. But I think that she's still a pretty good pick, at least for now. She's top tier in the meta. Next one is Groot, and he is obviously May. He can summon walls to block damage and different enemies from moving into the point or just leaving some areas. You can clothe them with it, you can deal damage with these walls, and you also have some great healing. So basically it's a healer May, which is even more scarier than it was in the Overwatch back in the day. You can deal tons of damage, and at the same time you have an ultimate which can get all the enemy team in one place to destroy with some other allies' ultimates, like for example Iron Man's one or Scarlet Witch one. So I think that he is really cool. I like to play him. I played him a lot back in CBT, and I must admit that this character is super amazing and pretty easy to play. Next character is Hela, and I think that she represents sniper characters from Overwatch. Widowmaker, Ashe, and pretty much aim focus Cassidy or McCree. She has consistent damage with a hit scan. She can destroy every character with headshots pretty fast. She probably has the highest damage rate in the Marvel Rivals, at least for now. And also, she's really focused on positioning, and she also have some really fast moving dash in the form of the Raven, while also has some strong ultimate which can deal tons of damage if you use it correctly. And also, she's basically unkillable when using the ultimate because her shielding is super strong while she's doing this. So I think that you will have tons of fun if you like sniper and precise characters to play. So definitely give a try to Hela. Next one is Namor. Previously I thought that Namor is kind of a Hanzo of the Marvel Rivals, and in some way I still think so, but with some twists. He has really good primary attack, which deals quite a lot of damage, and so he also might be called some kind of a sniper character in the Marvel Rivals. But besides this, he also have pretty much similarities with Torbjorn and Symmetra, because both of these characters using different turrets, and he using the octopuses, which are basically turrets in the Marvel Rivals for him. He is really strong. He has AoE damage with his ultimate, and he also can poke enemies from afar, which Torbjorn used to do back in day 2. So I think that this guy is definitely something good for people who like to main Torbjorn or Symmetra in the Overwatch 1. Next one is Mantis, and she is kind of Ana and Zenyatta. She is a healer with instant healing orbs. Besides this, she also has a sleep ability which is quite similar to what Ana has with a sleep dart in Overwatch, and she uses a ultimate around herself to heal allies. I really like how good she is in terms of healing and control. She also has some boosting powerful ability which is also reminds me ultimate of the Ana from Overwatch. It's not that strong, but have pretty similar effect. So I think you should try her as well if you liked Zenyatta back in the day. But also, if you want to play Zenyatta, Adam Warlock might be a great choice for you. But he is Zenyatta with the old Mercy ultimate, because he can revive all the characters that died, but he can do this not only one spot where they died, like Mercy did, but he can do this anywhere. So for some brief period of time he just using his ability to revive all the characters, but they revived with a low HP. He also had this kind of a empowered attack from Zenyatta, which charging and then release a few projectiles from him, dealing tons of damage. And if you are good with this kind of shooting mechanics, which is delayed shots or projectiles like balls of Zenyatta or projectiles of the Adam Warlock, you might be insanely strong. Also, Adam Warlock pretty good because he has this kind of a chain healing mechanic. So if you played Zenyatta on Mercy, I think that Adam Warlock will be a great choice for you. Next one is Luna, and Luna is probably Ana in some way as well. He is precision-based healer who relied on her auto attacks to heal allies and damage enemies. She also have some kind of a crowd control in the form of her freeze skill, and this is also quite similar to the sleep dart in some way. And her ultimate reminds some skill from the Lucy in some point, because it gives you a super powerful healing boost or gives your allies a huge boost to the movement speed. And this is basically empowered Lucio's aura. So I think that Luna is also pretty nice. Right now she's top 1 healing character, strategist character in the Marvel Rivals, so if you want to jump in the rankeds right away, I think that Luna is a great choice if you want to main strategists. Next one is the Rocket Raccoon, and he is Baptiste. He is high damage dealing support who also have quite a lot of healing with his ammos, with their jumping around and healing characters on its way. He also have some anti-death equipment which can revive characters instantly after their death, and his ultimate give a huge damage boost but works more like a mercy boost of the damage to all the teammates, where she's flying around and giving some powerful damage. But instead of flying around, Rocket just drops some module which increases damage. And I think that Rocket Raccoon is really satisfying to play because his kit is probably the mightiest from all the strategists in the game right now. He can reposition super quickly, he is really annoying if played correctly, he can climb walls, flying around, dashing with his abilities, he can levitate in the air with his backpack, and he is really fun to play. So if you like Baptiste, I think that this one is definitely for you. But what about other characters? Well, we also have Hawkeye, who is obviously Hanzo. He has a lot of similarities with Hanzo. He has different damaging arrows, and they are quite similar to Hanzo, especially the boom arrow, which is remind me the scatter arrow from the Overwatch 1. And also he has some abilities from Genji, which are deflects. You can deflect melee characters, you can deflect some projectiles, and this is really a strong and amazing character. I really want to main him when he can be released as a duelist, so if you like Hanzo and Genji, definitely your pick to go for the duelist role. What about, let's say, Doctor Strange? He's a reminder of the Reinhardt in the Marvel Rivals. He has same shield, he has tons of damage, he has some stun ultimate which can fully disable all the team for a brief period of time, and I think that they have quite a similarities, but Doctor Strange is a ranged version of the Reinhardt. He's really cool to play, and I think that if you played Reinhardt back in the day, you might enjoy him too. Also, Loki reminds me Echo. He has an ultimate which grants you a possibility to steal the identity of the character you're playing against or with in your team, so basically sometimes it might be way too strong because you can boost your performance. For example, if you have 2 Iron Mans in the team and you both use ultimate at the same time, especially when you play in something like payload mode, you're gonna destroy the team instantly. So he is really amazing in this way, and he also a healer, support, strategist character who can provide a consistent healing with different auras with his clones, as well as doing splash healing and splash damage at the same time, and this makes him pretty versatile strategist, which is the funniest one to play right now in my point of view. Oh, and I forgot to mention that he has invisibility as well, so he's quite a unique character, and I think that if you like Echo, you might try him too. But what if you want to play a unique character in Marvel Rivals? Well, I think that you might try Magic, Spider-Man, Psylocke. Psylocke reminds Genji in some way, but she's still pretty interesting and unique. Captain America, who also has deflect and some skills that might look like Brigitte ones, but also, again, he is pretty interesting and unique character. Winter Soldier, who reminds me Roadhog in some way, because he has a hook and have tons of damage with his ultimate, but they are totally different in terms of realization and implementation into the game. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed my personal list and review of the characters which correspond from the Overwatch to Marvel Rivals 1, and I hope that it was useful and you found your main or new characters to play in the upcoming Marvel Rivals Season 0. So thank you. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, comment, and of course subscribe to my channel to not miss any amazing Marvel Rivals content. Thank you, and I see you soon. Hey Rivalers, sorry for interrupting, but only 1.7% of you subscribe to my channel. To support me and my channel, please subscribe and hit that like button. Thanks.